Alright, this is a brief video on how Daddy cleans the pellet stove and how I run the pellet stove. You have to know how to run the pellet stove before you clean the pellet stove. And this is a dirty pellet stove. You can see down here that the glass is covered with ash. And if we peek inside here, you can look and you can see the box. Oh, it's not really coming out on the video, but you can see the box is about halfway full of ash stuff in there. This has been burning for about 5 days, and when it gets a little nicer outside, when it's not too cool, I like to turn this off and clean it. But before I turn it off, a couple of things about operating the stove. If you listen, I want you to listen to it. Just listen to the normal operation of the stove. That was the auger, and you can hear the fan. So the fan is always going. It's coming out of these vents right here. Listen for the auger. So that'll happen every 15 seconds or so. That's normal, okay? In fact, you should be hearing the auger. If you don't hear the auger, it won't be burning. Let's go over here to the side to the control panel. Let me show you a couple things. Over here, put my light up there. Over here, this is the on-off switch. Of course, it's on. This is the feed switch. I never touch this switch. Leave it alone. I never touch it. This is the auger button, and these are the settings. Low, D, C, B, D, C, E, and max. Only two I ever use are low and B. Sometimes I call them 1 and 2. Okay? Normally, about 90% of the time, it's on the lowest setting. And there's never really a time to turn it up. When it does get really cold outside and the house is starting to get chilled, I'll turn it up to B. And when I turn it up to B, you'll hear the fan get a little louder. I heard it. I don't know if it comes out in the video. Normal operation is at low, and then B. I've never used C, D, E, or max. Never. Never had an opportunity to do that. So, a little later on in the video, I'll talk about how to start this, how to get things going after I clean it. And we're going to be talking about the on-off switch and the auger button. That green light on the top means the auger's on. If the green light is off, you have to push the auger button to turn it on. So I'll talk about that when we get to this point in the operating procedures of the stove. But let's first talk about cleaning it. Okay, so we're back in front. So what I'm going to do to clean this is I'm going to turn it off. In fact, we'll go ahead and turn it off right now. I should have done that while I was down here. We're going to turn it off. The auger light will go out. And now the fire is still burning, but eventually this fire will go out and the pellet stove will cool down. It'll probably take an hour or more, okay? But you want this to be completely cool, and then I'll show you how I clean it. But you don't want to put even warm ash in the trash can. I never put ash in the trash can. That's not what this is for. This is just the cleaning supplies and stuff. I'll show you that later. But you want this to be completely cool, and it will turn off by itself. The fire will go down, and when the pellet stove reaches a certain temperature, the fan will go off. I've turned the thing off, but the fan is still going, and that's normal. Okay, when the fan goes off, it is cool. I normally wait another 20 minutes or so to make sure the ash is really cool, and then I dispose of the ash. I'll show you how I do that later. So this is part 1 of the video. We'll come back and clean it. Now, while I'm waiting for this to cool down so I can clean it, I'm going to put some pellets in here. This is really low, pretty low. This hopper, called a hopper where you put your pellets in there, it holds about 60 pounds. And each bag is 40 pounds. This one bag of wood pellets is 40 pounds. So what I want to do is put those wood pellets into here. So I'll cut the bag, a little opening in the bag, and pour them in there. But the important thing to know about this is this surface right here in front, this surface right here is hot, okay? And this bag right here is made out of plastic. If I put that plastic bag on there, even for an instant, it's going to melt the bag and it's going to cause a big mess. So the trick is to cut the bag open a little bit, pick it up, and pour it in here without touching the hot surface. This surface is fine. It's not hot. It's warm, but it's not hot. This is hot. Can't touch it. So that's how I fill it up. I normally fill it all the way up. And when I put those 40-pound bag in there, you'll see it's not even filled up yet. Run time, in case you're interested, this thing normally filled up like this, I can leave it for 2 days, set on the lowest setting. Remember the settings on the side over here? On the lowest setting, if this is full, I can leave this thing running for 2 days, and I often do. I might leave town, go up to Reno, and come back, and it's still going. There's enough pellets in there for probably 3.5 or 4 days, maybe, I don't know, but certainly 2 days. But that'll take. It won't run down very quickly. So that's how we do it. I'm going to show you a lot of this video will be a series of pictures, and I'll show you a couple pictures on how I pour the pellets in, and then we'll come back and clean it. All right, she's all cooled down. And we're going to open the door and talk about this for a second. See all that ash right there on the door? And then all that black stuff in there. Oh, let me zoom out. All the black stuff, and then ash on the ground. And then I was talking about how the burn box fills up. You can see, I've seen it a lot worse than that, but this is after about 5 days or so of burning, maybe a week. Not bad. That means these pellets aren't too bad. They don't give me a lot of ash, which is nice. Some pellets give you a lot of ash. Anyway, the process is pretty simple. I'm going to pull that burn box out, and I'm going to clean it out, and then in the bottom here, there's a tray, a removable tray, and I'm going to take that out, and I'm going to use an old paintbrush right there, and you're just going to knock the ash off the walls, okay? There's a couple of tools that come with the pellet stove that I use, and they're back here in the back of the stove, right back there. They're kind of hidden. Let's pull those out. This one is used to pick up that tray I was just talking about. I'll show you what that looks like. And there's another one back here, a little thicker one. That's used over here in front to clip onto this little thing right here. See that? Goes like this. And what we do with that is, there are pipes in the fan here. Little pipes inside there. And up in here there are tubes. And this is a scraper, and it's going to scrape. Let's see if I can get a picture of that. It's a picture, there are tubes up in there. Oh boy, you can just about see it. See those tubes up there? What we're going to do is we're going to scrape those with this this process. I'll show you what that looks like. I do it about that many times, and then I'm done. And then the rest of the process is very simple. What I'm going to do is, as I've said, I'm going to take the burn box out, knock all the ash into that tray, pull that tray out, and throw all this ash out into the yard. I'm not putting it in the trash can, even though it's cool. It's just too dangerous to put ash into a trash can, start a fire. So let me show you that in the sequence of pictures, and then I'll come back. So you can see in the burn box, you've got holes around the edges and on the bottom. What I'm doing is knocking all the ash off of those holes so that they're open. Okay, so now that the ash is out of the burn box and has been wiped off the walls as much as I can get, you can never get all of it. I'm going to remove this door and just slip it up off those pins. You don't have to do anything, just pick up the door, it comes right off and it goes right back on. And I'm going to clean the glass. It doesn't look very dirty right now, but we're just going to clean it up. And so that's it. It's just really easy. Just put everything back, put the burn box, push it. It has a little piece back there. They just connect together. You just push that like that. It just sits in there. That tray is put back in here. See it right here? It's the tray. The door is clean. We are ready to light it up. Okay, so here we are at the end of the process. Pellet stove has been cleaned. I put in fresh pellets. I don't fill the burn box all the way up. I fill it about 2/3 of the way up. Just about like that. I'm going to use my fire starter. And over here, remember these buttons. I'm going to use the on button. Let's see if I can put down my flashlight for a second. I'm going to use the on button, and then I'm going to push the auger, and I'll have a green light at the top. So I'll show you some pictures on how that's done, and that's it. That's how you clean and run the pellet stove. Have a warm day.